Today we're going to be talking about AWS and passwords and multi-factor authentication inside of identity and access management. So first things first, what's a password? Well, a password is what you pass along to your account with the username. So your account's looking for the username and the password. If they both match, they allows you in. And by now, everybody should know about complex passwords. So it's harder to be hacked or breached. So just how easy is it to brute force attack a password? Well, this table here shows that the shorter the password is and the less complex it is, the faster it can be brute forced. So it's better to have a longer password with numbers, upper and lowercase letters, and symbols. It's also important to have multiple passwords. Instead of just having one password for all of your accounts, it's better to have a password assigned to a specific account and then never use that password again. That's where password managers come into play. And there are several out in the market right now, like LastPass, 1Password, NordPass, Bitwarden, etc. These products are just basically a vault where you can store your username and passwords for each account. That way you don't have to worry about one credential being leaked and have your other accounts fall victim to like a credential stuffing attack. But if you insist on making your own passwords, it's good to use a site like this to determine how secure your password is. So if I were to type just my name and the number 1, you could see that it would take a computer about 22 milliseconds to crack this password. It's not a strong password. But what if I use my dog's name? So if I go, let's see here, Sarah, and I got her in 2016. So I'll just drop it in here. Boom, 8 hours for a computer to hack. Not very long at all. What's nice about a password manager though is it'll create a password of a random string for you if you choose, and you never have to remember it. So all you need to know is to be able to get into your vault, and if you use a password that the vault gives you, it's going to take a computer an obscene amount of time to hack. By that time they can have all of my accounts. I'm fine with that. But what happens if your password and username gets leaked somehow? So say your username and password ends up on a bathroom stall wall somewhere and a nefarious actor tries to sign into your account. Well, they could get in unless you have multi-factor authentication in place, also known as MFA. It's basically, you have 3 factors of MFA: something you know, which would be your password or your PIN, something you have, such as like a code on your phone, it's either texted to you or there's an app on your phone that sends you a code, or something you are. So this would be like a fingerprint or a retina scan, like most iPhones now have face authentication. So we're going to want to have our AWS user and root accounts set up for multi-factor authentication. This is pretty important because not only would somebody be able to get into your account and cause damage to your provision resources, but this could also cost you money. There is no cap in AWS, so if I wanted to spin up 1,000 servers, it would let me spend 50 grand a month if I wanted to be neglectful and do that. There's no way to stop that I'm aware of. So first we need to create a password policy. So we can do that by going to the IAM dashboard in AWS and click account settings. And we can see the password policy here. So here this shows that the password must be at least 8 characters and include a minimum of 3 of these. And other requirements are password never expires, must not be identical to your AWS account name or email address. All right, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and edit this password policy, and I'll just make it, maybe I want it to be 15 characters. And I want it to require all of these. And I could turn on password expiration, which means every, say, 90 days I have to reset it. I'm not gonna do that though. And if it does expire, then it will require an admin to reset it. Allows users to change their own password. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want users to be able to change their own password, you can select that box. And we're going to prevent password reuse. We'll make it extreme, 24 passwords. So if you used Daisy1 exclamation point as your password and then it expires after so many days, you can't use it again. You'd have to use Daisy2 for an example. A bad example, by the way. Don't do that. So let's go ahead and click Save Changes. It'll also impact all new user creation and all existing users that changing their passwords. All right, so go ahead and set custom. All right, so we made our password policy. Let's go ahead back to the IAM dashboard. So we'll go ahead and add MFA to ourselves. So we'll go ahead and click Add MFA, and we'll just go ahead and click Assign MFA in the top right. And it's gonna ask your device name. I'm just gonna put John's iPhone. And I'm going to use an app on my phone. So I'll go ahead and leave the authentication app selected. There's also a security key like a YubiKey or a hardware token. That's probably less common. Go ahead and click next. And we're going to see a list of all applicable applications. And where's that list at? Here we go. So Android, here's your list. iOS, here's the list. I'm going to use Google Authenticator. So we'll go ahead and go back and I'll go ahead and show the QR code. And I'm going to pull up the Google Authenticator app on my phone. And I'm just going to scan the QR code and I have my MFA code. It's going to give a code that's time sensitive. If you use the same app, you'll see a little bar or a little pie graph on the side that slowly counts down. And it's going to ask me for my one-time codes. And it's going to ask for 2 different codes. So I'm going to give them this one and I'm going to wait for it to time out and give me a second code. And I have my second code now, so I can go ahead and put that in. And we'll click Add MFA. And now I have MFA applied to my account. Let's go back to the dashboard and it shows that I have MFA, but my root user does not. We're going to get to that. So let's go ahead and test. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'll just go ahead and sign out entirely. All right, let's see, log back in. So it's G. Allen Cyber. My computer's already saved my password for me, but I should have to change it, so we'll see. All right, so now it's asking me for my MFA. So I will go back to my Authenticator app on my phone and punch in the code and then click enter and I am in. All right, so let's go back to IAM. And let's go ahead and go to my user. Let's go ahead and just click on my user. So we're into my user. I'm going to change my password. So let's go to security credentials, manage console access, and then we're going to give it a custom password. And since I made that password policy, you can see here it must be 15 characters long and have all of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and type John1. Oops, hold on. John1 exclamation point. We'll see if it lets me do that, and it doesn't. So it won't let you do that unless you do a correct password that meets the policy. All right, so give it a long password. I'll go ahead and click apply, and it says I have successfully updated the user's password, and this is where I can show the password or download the CSV file for them. But I'm gonna go ahead and click close here. Let's go over and make the root account more secure with MFA. So we're gonna go ahead and sign out. Click log back in, and we're actually going to go sign in with using the root user email. So we'll just go ahead and sign in here. All right, and now we are in our root account. And let's go to IAM. And since I am in my root account, I have the option to add MFA. So I'm going to do that. We'll go ahead and click assign MFA. All right, we'll take it. And click show our QR code. Let's go to the Authenticator app on my phone. And once I scan the QR code, it starts giving me my one-time passcode. And it's going to require 2 of them. So the second one's about to come around now. All right, and my second one is in. So go ahead and select that, click add MFA. And now the root account has MFA. Perfect. So we can just go ahead and sign out of this because we don't want to be in the root account, but we're going to go back into the root account just to test MFA. Root user. All right. Go ahead and drop the password in there, click enter, and it prompts me for MFA. So I'll go back to the authentication app and punch in my number. And I'm in. All right, we'll go ahead and sign out of the root account because we don't want to use the root account. That's why we have IAM users. All right, now I punch in my MFA code. And I am in. All right, so hopefully you understand the importance of strong passwords and the importance of multiple passwords. In other words, don't use the same password over and over again for different accounts. Always have unique passwords for the different accounts. And you should also understand the importance of MFA and how to set it up in AWS for both your root account, which is important, and then your user accounts, which is just as important. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of the importance of that, and thank you for watching.